Hello, everyone. Today we have a kind of a nice little treat. We're going to be operating the first payware aircraft that I have picked up from Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the G-91. It's an Italian light attack aircraft. It was also used with the Luftwaffe, from what I was able to determine. And basically, this video is going to be kind of a first impressions. I usually don't do videos like that, but I said, hey, this is the first time we got something military. And honestly, looking at it reminds me a lot of an F-86D. So we might as well give it a spin, kind of see what it feels like, and all those other good things related to it. So what I'm going to be doing today is basically going through the checklist on it. I'm going to take this thing for a spin for the first time. Fingers crossed I can figure it out in the air. Hopefully, with the amount of flying I've done, I'll be able to manage it. But hopefully, again, we'll see kind of what happens here. Let's go ahead and pop inside. So first things first, this is a payware aircraft. I picked this up off of JustFlight, which you probably are familiar with. I've never actually bought one off that website before. So this is kind of a new experience. And kind of taking a look around. We have a lot of the good stuff that I've kind of seen in beautiful real radio. Nice. Got some pitch damping channels. They seem to be turned on. We've got, see, a jet pipe temperature. Interesting. There's probably a little alarm that comes on when he says that. Again, just kind of getting a feel for it. We have our fuel system shutoff valve. We have something for that. We've got our landing light switch. We have control for the canopy. The handle must be unlocked. I think that's what that is. So it's actually very similar. I've seen aircraft like that before. Landing gear position lights, I see, are out. We have probably the landing gear release. Big fat, look at this big chunky stick. Oh man, the thing's right off an F-86. I love the buttons on it. Let's see, we have a drop tank button, which I believe you can actually design in an external editor. Looks like we have an inertial navigation system on here. I believe that's what this is. Yep, that's exactly what that is. Take a look around the rest here. Oh man, there's quite a few handles here. We got our gun sight. We have position and homing indicator. So we probably have ADF. Nope, we have ADF over here. So I think this is a different system. I'm just trying to look at this. You have drift down here, a variation. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what this is, but obviously it's a directional gyro of some kind. We have our good old-fashioned ADI percent. We've got jet pipe temperature. It looks like we have fuel. Interesting that it's in pounds, but I think this is an American version of this particular aircraft. Swinging down here, it looks like we got hydraulics. This is probably electronics, probably testing. Swinging down on this side, I'm just kind of looking at everything. That's probably cabin pressure. Oxygen regulator, always good to have. Now that's an ancient ADF unit. I love this old stuff. You can keep your glass cockpit, man. This is cool. Looks like we have ourselves our little light in the back. We got our position lights, instrument lights, anti-collision lights. We have a 5 station selector. I'm not 100% sure what this is, but I did notice a second ago when I held my mouse right here. That must be related. I'll have to see what it says in the manual about this. If I had to guess, this is something to do with TACAN. Looks like we have IFF. We have the different modes here. Of course, we have a regular, ATC transponder system down here. Pressurization, which doesn't seem to work. Bummer. We can't control the temperature. We have a defrost. And, of course, we have a bajillion of these. Looking straight down, we have everybody's favorite ejection handle. Do we have one above our head, too? Yes, indeed, we do, and it is armed. Okay, let's see if we can work our way through this thing and get it started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop open the checklist on a different sheet here, and I'll kind of take a look and see if we can find everything. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's see here. ATC communication, parking brake set. Alrighty then. Gonna pull it out. It says emergency wheel brake, but if they want to call it a parking brake, I'll call it a parking brake. Battery switch. I think I saw it over here. Yeah, right there. Generators are on. So we use a generator as opposed to an alternator. Okay, that's fine. But we do have inverters. We want to turn... Okay, apparently we have 2 inverters. Turn those both on. Interesting, this is synchronized a little bit. We're getting all sorts of angry warning. Oh, I love these old ones. Look how crunchy, they're little knurled buttons. And in the old days, you could push them yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Warning lights, check. Okay, sorry, before we get there. Fire and overheat circuit. I think that's what this switch is. All right, looks good. Warning lights. We're supposed to do one of these things, I believe. I remember watching a guy on a 707 one time actually rip through and basically tap every one of those buttons to push them. You just sort of push them all down together and make sure the light turns on. All right, so that looks good. Fuel shutoff valve. I think we saw that over here. Fuel shutoff valve. There's. Go ahead and close that, I assume. Let's see. Fuel booster pump. I think I saw that right next to it. Yep. Let's see. HE ignition. I'm actually not sure what this is. High energy ignition. Instantaneous. I'm not 100% sure what this is for. I'm going to go clicking on, though. I'm sure we need it in order to get this thing going. Engine JPTL. On. Interesting. Let's see here. Throttle. Check below override stop. Okay, so we're making... Apparently there's a stop on this, which I believe I'm below. Oh, it's one of those. I see it. Nice. So we want to make sure we're below the stop there. Starter press. Huh. It seems a little unscientific, not going to lie. I actually got to turn on my anti-collision light because I'm a nice guy. All right, let's pop this thing open. And 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let go and see what it does. Now, my brain tells me I have to push this thing forward to click it out of that detent. I'm sure that's what you have to do in the real plane, but I don't know if that's how this is going to behave here, because this seems to be spooling up. And I'm noticing I'm getting temperature off the jet pipe also, which tells me we must have some kind of ignition here. Let's take a look out back real fast. Ooh, that's loud. Yep, you can see the little waves coming out of the engine here. So we're definitely, we have heat, which tells me that, no, that's definitely working properly. All right, that's coming up nicely. I see my hydraulic pressure is woefully low. That's kind of dangerous. And we seem to be good. We're stabilized at 35%. Warning light should be off. I still have 1 warning light right here. Interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and get everything ready then. So I guess that's it. I'm going to leave that warning light on for now. Give everything a quick tug, make sure it's working okay. How's my feet? Feet feel pretty good. Okay, ADF should be set to the on position. So my ADF was on my right here. Interesting. Can we do one of these to control it? No, it's just there to entertain me. This is usually the knob. Let's see here. We actually want to set this to a specific frequency today. I think we want to go to 410 if I recall correctly. Interesting, we're not getting anything. ADF gain, nope. I wonder what they're referring to with that. Go ahead and flip that sucker on there. This is an ADF station that should be a little bit to the south of us, if I recall. It's either 410 or 401. 50-50 shot if I got the correct frequency. It's 401. Lame. Left middle click for, hang on. Do I need, so if I click and drag, nope, that doesn't do it. Middle click, okay. Middle click for 1. Okay, I don't know exactly how to set that. It's something I'm going to have to play with myself here, because I do need a frequency that's a little bit between it. Whoa! Oh, cool. It's got one of those old switchy things, too. All right, mouse wheel. I got that. Yeah, it works fine. I'm experimenting here. It gives me my first time flying this thing. Ah, there it is. 401, so that's the frequency I need. So you have to hold down the left click and then roll the mouse to get it to work. And this should be showing me a signal. And if I look over here, I'm not seeing a signal, but we're probably below it on the horizon. All right, let's see what's next on our handy-dandy little checklist here. Going through, a phi selector should be turned on. Again, I'm not 100% sure what phi is. I'm going to have to find out what this is. I have a feeling this is something to do with some sort of, test that. Let's see here, phi selector. I actually don't see a switch for on, but we could pick what station we want, so I can just go like that. Let's pick station 1. This must have something to do with some kind of navigation system that we're going to take a look at later. I'll just pick station 1 for now. Let's go take a look over here. Does this look okay? Yeah, again, I saw something about phi mode selector. Interesting. So apparently there is some kind of navigation system built in here. I'm going to have to look into this because it says I'm 201 away from something. So we'll see. I don't actually know. We'll find out. Let's see here. Elevator servo switch, which I think is up. Hang on, let me look. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one with the angry red light. Pitch trim set. Set for takeoff. Okay. I think I see this. Oh, nice and chunky gauges. Whoop, too much. There we go. Set. Flaps set. We should put them at half down. They are set to half down. Delightful. Speed brake should be set in. I think it is. Canopy check. So we should lock our canopy. And I think that's what that light was. Yeah, exactly. All right. Canopy is closed. Oxygen supply level should be on. And I don't think I need to test my mask here. I'm sure this is going to be my next step. I'll set this to normal. Whoop, not emergency. All right, hang on. Okay, that is normal. Got it. All right, I think we are good to go. All right, let's take this thing for a spin. We'll take a look around. I think we're in Amendola, by the way. If you're probably wondering, why'd you choose Amendola Airport of all airports to try to visit here? It actually makes a lot of sense. For those of you who are Falcon fans, you probably remember the Balkans campaign. This is basically our go-to airport for that campaign. So I had to pick it. I'm sorry, I had to do it. Oh my gosh, this thing is sensitive. Whoa, I was not expecting that. I come from a DCS land, and they have an F-86, which is very similar in almost every way to this aircraft. I'm talking weights, I'm talking thrust, I'm talking everything else. And it's a much more whoa kind of an airplane. But this thing is, whoa, this is crisp. This is like flying like a Cessna 172. Change my seating position there. Take a look around. Amendola, by the way, for those of you curious, is on the eastern coast of Italy. So we're basically going to do ourselves a nice little handy-dandy flight down this way. This thing, it's got some pretty good pickup. I'm actually kind of impressed. My brain really wants to press the nose wheel steering button for some reason. Again, that's probably just coming out of DCS here. Go ahead and hold the brakes. Brakes are good. Go ahead and check my approach. Looks pretty good. I'm not going to use air traffic control or anything silly like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they want us to do for takeoff procedures here. Let's see here. Nose liftoff is 95 knots. Okay, so it's a wheelie aircraft. Gotcha. Every aircraft's got a different person. I call them wheelie aircrafts because basically you create a wheelie with the aircraft and it decides to fly when it wants to fly. We'll bring ourselves over onto the center line here. That looks pretty good. Slow down just a little bit here. I have a feeling this is going to be loud. Let's go ahead and do our pre-flight checks here. We're going to do our lights, camera, action. I believe there's a transponder over here. Interesting. I think we want to put it up. So for me, it should be on the normal setting. Ooh. That's we're in Europe, so we might as well squawk 7,000 there. Okay, we have the different IFF modes, which should be /C, but we don't have a C mode here, so I'm not going to panic on that one. The PHY selector, which I got to look this up what this actually does. And I'm telling you what's really disappointing is I haven't seen this needle over here for the wind unit, aka a Doppler unit, wiggle at all. That bothers me. Hopefully it's something that they're going to bring in a little later on, or I'm using it wrong, which is totally possible. All right, let's see here. So it's a full throttle for takeoff. Okie dokie. I don't trust these old engines at all, so I'm going to be super duper smooth about it. Sounds like reminds me a lot of the sound of a Harrier, not gonna lie. Alright, we're looking for 95 knots, and we're gonna do a little wheelie here. Got a little bit of a crosswind today, but nothing too bad. 50 knots, 75, 95, a little wheelie. Alright, and we're gonna gently let the aircraft come off on the ground. Apparently my wheelie wasn't strong enough. You're up. Nice. Alright, so our initial climb out should be about 165 to 185. I've already exceeded my flap speed. It doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, up we go. Can't wait to try this one in VR. And getting a little bit of the bouncies today. I'll go to the controls for a second. Alright, feels pretty good. Kind of feeling everything on here. Alright, looks good. I'm going to do a nice gentle. Okay, that's actually pretty crisp. You know, a lot of aircraft, you know, these military types are either really sensitive or they're really kind of, whoa. This one is definitely, in roll at least, it feels pretty sensitive. I'll have to take it to the edge and kind of see what happens here. I'll probably reduce the throttle. It doesn't say anything about reducing throttle, which actually surprises me just a little bit here. Anyway, I'm going to knock my jet pipe temperature down a little bit. We're at 98%. Seems to be pretty good. Again, I'm not 100% sure. There's the lovely sun there. I'm glad I got my little tinted windscreen there so I can see better. I'm basically going to head out to the coast and proceed. So, oh, that gets nice once you get some airspeed. That's a nice thing about these old style, like, you know, 60s and 70s aircraft, even 50s, where there's no limit. If you just jam on the controls, it goes. There's no computer to be like, you cannot do that, which makes it much more fun to fly. All right, I'm going to bring the nose down a little tiny bit here. Trim feels good. Like, there's no automatic pilot on this thing, I don't think, but I'm not worried about that too much here. All right. Get a little feel for it. Picking up a pretty good amount of speed. We're already doing 300 knots, which is actually very fast. Oh, the aircraft that again, we're in a clean configuration here. We do have plenty of thrust in reserve, so does not surprise me. All right, kind of go. Again, just kind of getting a feel for it. Let's go ahead and climb up through those clouds a little bit, see what this feels like. Pitch responses, it's a little sluggish, but it's not bad. Doesn't feel particularly sensitive in pitch. And isn't that just, man, this is why we fly. You look out the window, and that's why we fly. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and get ourselves a little bit of altitude here. About 6,000 feet. I did not check the manual for what my best climb speed is. I'm going to have to look that up. It feels like I'm getting a little heavy, so I must be awfully close to it. Let's see if there's anything in that checklist. Let's see here. Stable speed table, nose liftoff, height AGL. I don't need that. Drag chute. Doesn't say anything about what climb speed I should use. So I'll use pretty much everybody's favorite, the 250, I guess. Although it's feeling pretty good now. We're getting a vertical speed of about, I'm just looking over there, it looks about 3,000 feet per minute. So this is definitely not the most sprightly performer, at least in this concurrent configuration. Got my windows. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Make sure everything looks good. That trim, man, whew, that's different. All right, let's start taking a look at some of the other functions in this thing. I got this thing pretty well trimmed out. Kind of seem to be on our course here. I see my ADF is still not detected. I turned you on, and I'm also on channel 401. Yeah, I am on channel 401. I love how it's the old school MC/S. So old. Whoop, I just made it 402. There we go. Oh, so you left click it once, and now you can do the big numbers. You left click it again, then you get the little numbers. Oh, that is so convenient. Okay, I get it now. All right, there's our 250 knots that we're climbing at. Go ahead and nose down just a teeny tiny bit. The trim is definitely good. Like, I don't feel like I'm fighting the trim like I do in a lot of other aircraft. Just kind of goes. Take a look over here. I'm curious about the phi detector. It says I'm at 211 away from whatever this thing thinks it is. There must be some kind of definitions file or something I can dial this into, like an airport, and I can have it home in on it. It's definitely something I got to check out a little later. I'm just going to kind of punch through the clouds here. Conditions are pretty good today, so I'm not worried about any ice or anything like that. Nose it off, and we'll go ahead and do a little maneuvers. I'm going to get a little bit of altitude underneath me before I do some stupid stuff. Yeah, you can definitely feel it start to, as we start getting a little bit steeper here. That makes me feel really confident in the flight model. Got nose down just a little bit more here. Again, this is my first time taking this thing out for a spin, so I'm relying on my DCS skills here. Alright, let's go take a look down here. So the cabin pressure is coming up correctly. Let's see, we're still climbing about 3,000 feet per minute. This thing is not wandering, and I didn't have to pull to cage it. That bothers me a little bit. Like, I'm not annoyed about it or anything like that. It's just like, this bothers me. We're crossing 16,000. Most light aircraft, like I think of like L-39s and like C-101s and stuff like that, once you get over 15,000 feet, they just don't like to go up anymore. So we're already pushing 17,000, and it feels okay still. It still feels okay. All right, we're just about crisping. What is that? We're going to be tapping the top of this cloud right here. I'm just going to go ahead and get myself... Oh, the ADF just started working. Nice. So it turns out I'm already off course, and I haven't even like started my flight here. Go ahead and bring myself to the left. The ADF is really important to me. Obviously, I prefer TACAN if we're dealing with military aircraft. But again, we'll deal kind of with what we got there. My jet pipe temperature is getting a little high, but again, we're not exceeding anything we're not supposed to exceed. I'm going to pull it back just a teeny tiny bit. Looks like I'm supposed to be in the yellow there, and this thing was well into the red. Let's swing ourselves to the left. We've got to do a little bit of AVDF navigation today. And we are well over that cloud cover now. We're going to go ahead and touch 21,000 feet. I think is going to be a pretty good altitude. And then we'll go test the aircraft and see how hard or easy it is to go ahead and level ourselves off. Look out my window. Oh, this is so beautiful. I love it. I also like how they give you the crash knife. This little thing right here. That's so cool. All right, that's 21,000 feet. Let's go ahead and push the nose over. All right, so the elevator did not like me very much there, but that's not uncommon. Okay, now we're driving on ice. Bring my power back to about 90%. I think that's going to be more than enough. Here we are. All right, so now we got to find the sweet spot with the trim game. Now, every aircraft has a different personality when it comes to finding that sweet spot. Go ahead and push forward a little bit. I'm going to let go of the controls. I feel like it wants to say. It actually trims really smooth. It's a little sensitive in trim, at least in pitch trim. World's gentlest tug, but it has a tendency, like this is going to sound weird, but when I pull back and let go, it kind of stays there. Not like fly-by-wiry, but it's got a little bit of that, like, touch to it, I guess is what I'm going to call it. All right, so I got my window. A nice little dramatic picture for our little title card there. That looks pretty good. Oop, starting to climb again. Yeah, I'm not getting the I'm on ice sensation that you get a lot of times when you get up to 20,000 feet with something light. It wants to climb, which is not an, again, this is basically my first time flying this thing, so I'm going by what I know. Gotta give it a gentle tug. We're going in the correct direction. It's good to see the ADF is working, or I'll get a really rude surprise like I always do when I try to make videos without practicing first. Let's see here. Climb looks good. I'm gonna let go of my control there. A little bit of trim down. Yeah, a little bit more trim down, please. Yeah, the trim's definitely not sensitive, which is a good thing. It really is a good thing. All right, cool. Not bad. All right, let's do some maneuvering here. So first things first, we're going to put this thing into a dangerous dive and see what happens. So we're going to do our wing over. And we're going to go ahead and pull this thing straight down nice and gently. Oh, boy. Oh, getting light in my seat. I'm going to push the nose over. I don't need a lot of rudder with this thing. We're going to push it right up to its maximum speed and see what happens. All right, we're not getting any weird compressibility effects. And we just broke the speed of sound. There is Mach 1. Go ahead and gently fly out. Oh, there's the buffet. Pulling about 8 Gs with that turn right there. Okay, so I didn't take the wings off. I do have damage turned on, in case you're wondering. Not bad. Let's go ahead and roll this thing over again. Let's go ahead and do a nice gentle wind-up turn here. So that's 5 Gs right there. That's 6 Gs right there. That is 7 Gs. This thing really hangs on energy. I'm impressed. Back a little bit more. That's 8 Gs right there. For some reason, I'm not blacking out. Wow, does this thing hang on to energy? Holy smokes. I could turn with an F-16 with one of these. Oh, there he goes. Now I'm starting to lose the energy. But I've already gotten like 2 revolutions in, and I still did not run out of it. Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, I'd be curious if their flight model doesn't doesn't have quite as much drag as you would expect. Pull back all the way. I'm gonna be a bad pilot now. We're gonna get the buffet. Nope. Wow. So this thing, I'm not gonna lie, that was a staggeringly good turn for something with this thrust to weight ratio. All right, that was interesting. That was interesting. All right, let's go bring it down to the deck real quick. Give it a little push. Bring back the throttle a little bit. I think we only need about 90% here. That was impressive. All right, starting to get a little bit of that buffet. Airspeed is pretty high, but we're not bad. There we go, nice and low on the deck. All right, whenever you do anything on the deck, don't forget to always trim up, not trim down. You just ripped by everybody's canal here up in eastern Italy. It's feeling pretty good. It's got a little bit of one of these to it, if you want to think about it another way. It's almost like the elevators are just a little too sensitive. All right, let's cause some problems. All right, that looks like a pretty large industrial district right there. Go pulling through the clouds. I just want to see what it does. All right, my engine's at 0. Let's see what happens when we stall. Are we going to enter into a death spin, or what's this thing going to do? Here we go. Goes forward a little bit. Okay, what happens when you fly this plane incorrectly? I have 0 airspeed. Whoa! Interesting. I'm not going to call that a little lame, but that was the most polite stall I've ever been in a military aircraft. Usually, they don't tolerate that very well. All right, let's do a regular stall here. Slow this thing down here just a little tiny bit. All right, hold on at 0 throttle, and this thing just does not want to slow down. Let's go ahead and bring out some speed brakes. It's got a nice rumble. All right, I'm just going to be sitting on my tail. Let's see if we lose a wing or something like that. Nope. So this aircraft is definitely has a very forward center of gravity, because you can see I'm wallowing a little bit here, but this is my stall. This is as bad as it gets. Let's go ahead and fly back out of it. Not bad, not bad. I like that. I like that. All right, come swinging down here. Our frame rates, by the way, are delightful. Again, I'm not flying this thing through New York City or anything like that. Whoa! Spoke too soon. I think we just loaded another major city there. All right, let's go ahead and try this thing in the landing. I think I'm just about to my destination at this point. Straighten this thing out. I got to try this thing out in VR. I have a feeling it's going to be kind of fun. I've been dying for a VR fighter plane, and I know that I think there's an F-15 that came out fairly recently also, and I was looking at it, and I think it's got a little bit more work. Oop, we need to come to my right a little bit here. All right, let's see what our checklist says as far as approach goes. All right, go to the top of this checklist. This is not the world's most detailed checklist, by the way. Landing gear, pitch out, brake, slow down to 185. Landing gear and flaps down at 180. Turn is 160. Approach is a 160, 150. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, so 150. Everybody remember 180 and 150, will you? All right, we're going to go ahead and cross my ADF. I think we're getting pretty darn close to it. Nose up. Watch it. So we're about to cross the ADF. Watch the needle. Watch the needle. Gotta swing myself to the left. Whoa! Okay, this aircraft's a little different at this speed. Flaps all the way down. Landing gear down. Come spinning around like this. And we should be... There's the runway. I had a feeling I was close. All right. We're going to be doing about 160. Yeah, it's 150. Too slow, too slow, too slow. Whoa! Okay, this thing loses energy really quick if you cut the throttle. Ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, so it's like an F-86, but less sensitive. Like I said, that's going to be my kind of final verdict here. I like it. I'm going to definitely play with it some more. And we have a big, nasty drag chute from that big yellow handle there. I'm just going to have to remember to pull it at the right time. Okay, so it stabilizes okay when you put the flaps down. Now, the weird thing for me is almost universally, whenever we used to do this, we'd actually put out our speed brakes if you're flying like an F-16. We're a little high here. There's a weird blur. Like, can you see it? Like, when you look through the sight, do you see how it's blurry? But when you don't look through the sight, it's nice and clear. It's an interesting effect. Interesting effect. All right, we're getting a little high. All right, looking a little better, looking a little better. Again, we're holding that 160. They want touchdown to be at about 140, so I'm actually going to start backing the throttle out now. Whoa, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. That was unexpected. All right, first landing in this new plane. Let's see how we do here. Nose up just a little bit. Oh, sorry, wheels. Let's try this drag chute. Sorry, wheels. Ooh. See what we look like from behind here. That is the cutest drag chute I've ever seen. Can I put it back in? Oh, yeah, apparently can. All right, we're here. All right, so this was interesting. This was a fun experience. I like this plane. I'm very, very glad that I picked an aircraft that was something that I could probably figure out pretty quick. Because this could be a way tougher challenge if it was something a little bit more, like a little bit larger. Like if this was like a B-52 or something like that, I'm sure that would be a little more challenging. But other than that, I kind of like it. I'm a little disappointed with the lack of the inertial nav here, but again, it's something they're probably going to add later on. This PHY system, I really got to find out what this is. If I had to guess, I'm guessing what you could do is you can program this to your favorite airport, and this will point a needle at it for you and like do all the math and calculations. In which case, this is really useful. I'm definitely going to have to play with this. I'm sure by bopping these buttons down here, you'll be able to go ahead and change what that is. But again, I'm playing Mr. Ignorant here because I've never seen that system before. Now, let's go ahead and park this thing, shut her down, and kind of call it a day. Again, when this thing taxis, it's like I've got places to be. Whoa. Go and look over to my right here. Normally, if I'm flying out of Amendola, by the way, I'm going over to Split Air Base to drop a bunch of bombs. And we did not try out any of the bombs or any of the external fuel tanks or anything like that for this particular thing. Because, again, I just wanted to try it out. I can always get fancy later kind of a thing. All right, I'm going to go get to park this thing. And we're going to call this my parking spot right here, even though it's not much of a parking spot. Woo! That was me, not the sound effect. All right, let's see here. So shutdown most likely is going to be to cut the fuel. Of course, in the real world, if we want to shut it down, and we just go and pull that thing. Oh, so it doesn't let you pass that line once you get to it. Okay. So is there a button I can press? Manual engine shut, right click. That's not how that works, I guess. I don't know how that works. Again, things I'll play with a little later on, I'm sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing shut down. What do we need to do here? What do we need to do here? Oh, we have a gun sight, by the way. We didn't play with that. I wonder if it's a collimated gun sight. Ooh, it's not a collimated gun sight. See, if I move my head, that it looks like they just sort of pasted it on there. Ah, that's no good. That means in VR it's not going to look as good. Okay, let's see here. Default view, throttle, forward a little. Should throttle. So I'm supposed to right-click on this, and that should shut the engine down. Let me push it forward. Right-click it. And then I can go like this. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I'm doing something wrong here, but I'll do it the... Oh, that did it! Cool, that should shut that engine off in a pretty quick hurry there. Yeah, so that's the fuel shut-off switch. That should make all my warning lights come on here. All right, let's see how much fuel I used for that. That was not exactly a long flight. Interesting, because I did not take off... Oh, geez, we went through quite a bit of fuel here, because I took off with a full tank here. Interesting, so this is definitely a short-legged aircraft. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, I've never tried anything where you just do kind of a little flight like that, but I figured a couple folks out there would be interested in that. Other than that, enjoy.